Okay, ready for the thing here. We're ready to roll. Okay. All right. Now we are ready to go here. Just give me a couple minutes here before the thing to start. Now we going. All right. I just tweeted this out 30 minutes ago there, so we should probably get a good crowd coming in pretty soon here. All right. This is episode 56 of our 80s music memories. Arknolia and the Doctor, and Dr. Earl here with Arknolia Stroke of Being here. And coming up in an hour, it's going to be my simulcast with Real Spuck TV with Minnesota Vikings fan and Minnesota Super Bowl hunter. And hopefully we could get some other people on the line just as well. Well, first and foremost, was it raining again in your area there?
Yeah, we
Again?
got some rain.
Yeah, because we just, it started, I was out earlier trying to ride a bike, and unfortunately, the rain started drizzling down a little bit, not severely as it was for the past couple of days here, but it's been doing like that for massively, and I just don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't.
Ooh, I
And then
like your
one thing.
picture.
All right, thank you. Yes, that is Dorita from Mob Wives. She did a couple of bikini shoots there, and I'll try to be careful on how to present that because of the fact that I had a little I had one of those. I was going to use a thumbnail of a woman in a bikini up there, and kind of like one of those provocative poses there. But I got told I had to take it down because it violates blah 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 this and that there. So how is a woman in a bikini in a certain pose that provocative? Or how is it? How
And
is
who
it
makes
that
that determination?
I don't know. The boys at YouTube are doing this right now, and I don't appreciate that. It's like, geez, it's not like two chicks, making out with one another there.
Right.
And the thing that pees me off most is that you cannot reply. They have it where you cannot reply. You just got to take the message, listen, and shut up. And that's what makes me mad even more.
It's called control.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Anyways, we're live here. Enough of that BS going on here. Got a lot of things going to be discussed with Minnesota Vikings fan with an hour later on. But for now, our second installment of the 1980s continues. Definitely, we got it. And you're going by alphabetical order of all the acts from the
For the
1980s.
for the most part, yeah.
All right, there. And now, you're probably. I gotta say this. I was gonna say this on the last episode this past Monday. There, the 1980s to me was like a time of real interesting stuff coming out here. I mean, a night. We had a British group called Dixie's Midnight Runners before dressed like hillbillies and come allow the song about trying to pressure women into sex. Come on, Eileen. That's what the song was about.
Yeah,
I
and you
mean, a lot
mentioned
of
my second group in my list.
yeah, I know, yeah. It's kind of funny is that we also a lot of shit that had went down in the 1980s there. I remember calling it the decade where everything you never thought would happen happened.
Right.
I mean, like we like a couple of well-known televangelists who were supposed to look up to God for the answers got themselves busted. And we know them as two Jimmys, Jimmy Swagger and Jim Baker there. They got themselves in big ass trouble. We lost, in 1980, we lost John Bonham of Led Zeppelin.
Right.
We lost John Lennon. That was one of the biggest shocks towards the end of 1980 there. That was a complete turn of events. We got a new president, Ronald Reagan, who months later got inaugurated. And at the same time that celebration took place, the hostages over in Iran were being released.
Yep.
They didn't really have to do anything because the situation is that the past year, they were in a whole year in that captivity over there, but Carter really wasn't doing nothing. Carter being Jimmy Carter, who was
Right.
president during that year. But the problem was, they figured, oh, Carter's a wimp. He's not good to do shit there. Most of these Democrats are the same way. Look at what Joe Biden is doing right now with the situation in Afghanistan right now. That's going to be Taliban country pretty soon there when you look at it. And Biden, as far as I'm concerned, ain't doing diddly squat about it.
Oh, he did make a proclamation that it was Trump's fault.
Oh, of course, obviously, they're going to say that. Of course, they're going to blame the other side. Blame everyone but themselves. Blame everyone but their own stupidity there. And I'm not surprised. In fact, I've been seeing a lot of things on Twitter saying about get Trump reinstated, this and that. They even had a bat signal with Trump's head on there.
Hmm.
So, so all the morons out there that voted for Biden are probably who are upset over this whole thing. Although I doubt they're upset because they're stupid assholes either way. There, it's just come on, give us a break. You know. But I don't want to get into that because
No,
I'm going to go on forever because I know
this is
both
a
of you.
music channel.
That's I mean, this is a music program, yes, and we want to continue that tradition going on here. All right, so what do we have for the time? What do we have on next on the list, dude?
Well, the first one I had was Devo. Are we
Oh
not
yeah,
men? We are Devo.
yeah, Debo. Yes, I remember there was this one guy named Todd, and at the one of the schools I used to go to was big on that. I guess he had himself a picture disc of that record there. He also had a brought in an album, their second album called "Duty Now for the Future" there,
Hmm.
and I remember hearing the songs from that album there, from the first album, "Are We Not Men?" With the picture disc there. It was quite interesting there.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff there. We also know the song "Uncontrollable Urge" being redone by Rob Dyrdek for his show Ridiculousness, which aired on MTV for a good long while.
Yeah. And then you
Yeah.
also had Whip It.
Yes, which is probably the most common song they know from this group there. But then again, they're not looking towards the other songs like "Slap Your Mammy" or their cover of "Satisfaction," the Rolling Stones cover there.
Right.
One of the things I remember about that video there was Mark Mothersbaugh. He had this pedal rushed duct taped right onto his guitar there when you look at it.
Yeah, they actually had a pretty decent amount of songs. I was tempted to make a list.
Yeah, it is, but it's hard to because of course, people are going to be like, "Well, I don't know these other songs. I only know is Whip It." Of course, you're an idiot because they only go for the mainstream stuff there. They go, what about Beautiful World, which came out a
Right.
year after that song came out, Whip It, I'm speaking of. What about songs like Peekaboo?
Well,
I
that's,
mean, they kept which each album they come out, we come out with a certain amount of they came out with a different look each album when you
yeah.
look at it there. The last time we heard from them was back in 1984. They had an album called Shot, which had their cover version of Hendrix's "Are You Experience?" And I guess that record didn't really do that well for some reason. I don't know why, but I guess Debo kind of like got into other things like video production and stuff like that. From what I
Yeah.
understand, I remember Jerry Castell, one of the members, he would go on to direct the one of the Foo Fighters videos. I think it was called I don't know. Well, I don't know the title of the song, but I just
Yeah.
remember it's a couple of the choruses in there. And for that video, the Foo Fighters themselves were kind of like dressed similar to what Debo used to wear with the jumpsuits there.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, during this period of time, the videos were interesting for the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah, exactly. It was me. I mean, the video. I remember watching this special, this spotlighting on Debo when they first came out there. It was General Boy, Boogie Boy. I think his name was. And the name, by the way, stood for de-evolution,
Right.
meaning that we evolved. We'd probably be evolving back to what we was before.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think one of the most interesting things about that was that just in a ways we kind of like kind of make do you think we're kind of slowly doing that right now?
Uh, well, we seem to be de-evolving into something.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, we're devolving into a bunch of windbags,
Yeah, I'm not sure
wimpy
what's
little
going
wimp.
on.
I'm not sure, but you know what, I think we all agree here we don't like it one bit. All right, so who's and the now the next one on your list was one I mentioned before, Dexy's
Dexy's
Midnight
Midnight
Runners.
Runners.
Yeah, Kevin Rowland was the front man for that group there. And
Well,
when
they
I
were
when
essentially a one-hit wonder, but they had a couple other songs.
yeah, but I guess of course they're going to avoid the other songs for just for "Come On Irene." Excuse me, "Come On Irene." Now
Eileen.
Eileen, yeah, that's right. I guess the video for that, of course, featured them in the London town dressed as hillbillies there, violins, banjos, and everything there. It was
Right.
kind of unique setup there when you think about it there.
Yeah,
Now, I
that was
remember,
among the interesting videos of that period.
yeah, it was. And now, a couple years later, they would make an appearance on the Young Ones TV show there over there in the UK there, and they would perform their cover version of that one Van Morrison song, da 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 dun dun da dun 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 dun, which I mentioned a couple episodes back. They nailed perfectly, so give them credit for that. There,
Yeah,
I guess it was a Celtic Soul that they were doing. From I understand,
I don't know for sure.
but you know what? It makes sense. They were, and we haven't really heard from them in a long time. I know they released an album back in '85 called "Don't Stand Me Down," which featured them in suits and ties, but it just went nowhere.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Everybody back then, if you didn't do a mega hit and follow it up with something else, they weren't interested. A lot of groups
Yeah.
fell into that.
Yeah, or if you change your sound a little bit there, because bands become accustomed to that sound, and then you change it into this record, like, hello,
Yeah,
what is this? Because people, excuse me, people are expecting that same particular sound, for throughout their whole year career there. I mean, look at AC/DC. If they were to change their sound for their next record, people would be like, what the fuck? You know,
yeah,
Another example was the band you had mentioned on the last previous episode, ABC. After the
yeah.
Lexicon of Love came out, they released an album called Beauty Stab, which was a more harder direction there. The song That Was Then, This Is Now was a kind of like a minor hit, but that album failed because it was such a massive change of direction.
Yeah,
They did, but however, they did kind of like fix that up with an album called "Who Wants to Be a Billionaire or a Zillionaire" with the song "Be Near Me," which was a massive big hit in '85 there, and that's when when Martin Fry started growing out his hair a little bit there, and it was basically Martin Fry and that other guy there with the little curl there in the front of his head there.
yeah. I remember that.
Yes, man. It was a good video there. And you gotta give it up to Martin Fry. He had a cool ass outfit during that video. I will say there.
Oh, a group I forgot to mention in the 80s that just popped in the top of my head
Yes.
was Aha.
Oh my gosh, that one song, "Take on Me."
Mm-hmm.
That song still gets played. Got that was one of the first. Son of a name go. I'm gonna be
Very
here.
popular video.
Oh yeah, it was like because it combined handwritten, hand-drawn animation next to real life action there,
Yeah,
and I
pretty well
guess
crafted.
it was real crafted. I wasn't a big fan of the song there. I mean, God
Mm-mm.
knows how many times we heard it, but that was probably their one big wonder because, well, not necessarily. They had another song called "The Sun Always Shines on TV," which
Yeah.
is a lot more harder song than "Take on Me" was.
Next one I got's another, I guess, one hit wonder. I only know one song by him,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a interesting song. And
Uh
that's the
huh.
Divinals.
Oh my goodness. When I first heard of that group, that was in '83. The singer Christina Applet, what's her name? Afflet, I guess it was.
You know, I don't remember what her name was, but she was
Oh,
definitely a stunner.
oh yeah, she was a starter. But back then, I thought that she was this loopy little girl who drew lipstick on her over her arms and stuff. She had this one microphone stand, which kind of like resembled a lightsaber when you look at it there.
Yeah, I think she's passed.
Yeah, she passed away. I remember. Let me Let me look her up. The Vinos. The Vinos rock band, blah blah blah. Let's see here. Her name was Christy Affleck. Affleck.
Yeah.
And they were an Australian rock band that formed in Sydney in 1980. You know, it consisted of, well, let me look it up here. Some of the name go. I hate when this happens here. All right. What happened to her? Let's see. Apparently, what it was, son of a name go. Let me have to go back here. Something is messed up there. Okay, here's what we got. She died on Sunday in New York City at the age of 53. The cause was breast cancer and multiple sclerosis.
I
Her
didn't even know she was
husband,
that old.
yeah, apparently it was, and apparently this was back in I guess in 2003. I understand there.
Hmm.
This when did she passed? And of course, now going back to the vinyls, we know the song "I Touch Myself," which is about jerking off.
Yeah.
That was probably that's when she kind of like threw that insane image for a more adult-like image. When you look at it there with the video there.
Yeah, the video was fun.
Yeah, yeah, but another singer who's sadly departed from us, unfortunately. There.
Yeah. Next one I got had an enormous amount of hits. Duran Duran.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude! You got to give it up to them.
They
They
even
were the
did
one that,
a James Bond
yes, A View
theme.
to a Kill from 1985. You got it. My best friend Dennis is still to this day remains a big fan of them. Shout out to you, Dennis, and out there in Romeo, Michigan. Miss you, brother. Um, Duran Duran first came about when it was time of the new romantic scene was all over MTV. Classics Nouveau, Adam and the Ants, Boy George and Culture Club were just emerging. They had the video for the song Planet Earth with all these wild fashions and haircuts and stuff there. I mean, it was like a trip to look at. But they would, of course, emerge and they would hit it big with the teeny boppers, with the second record, Rio, Seven and the Ragged Tiger, and then, of course, later on with that live show, Arena back in 1984. They
Yeah.
even had a movie of the concert, kind of like an action concert movie there, where the real Duran Duran, name which by the way was a villain from the Barbarella movie that
Hmm.
started Jane Fonda in the '66. Apparently this Duran Duran was going after the band Duran Duran for stealing his name. And of course, I guess some of the footage from that particular movie was eventually was made into the video "The Wild Boys."
Yep.
If you remember that video there, that
Hmm.
had that action back there. There was a moment in that video where Simon LeBon almost drowned. Apparently, what it was is that apparently you remember the windmill thing that Simon Bond was tied on to one of the blades, going around and around, putting his head underneath the water.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the
apparently.
movie.
Not the movie. I'm talking about the video for the Wild Boys.
Hmm.
Apparently, what it was is that apparently the windmill has just stopped and Laban's head was underwater for a good few minutes there, and the crew from there was trying to get the race to get him out of there, get him out of there. So he eventually did survive, so he escaped death right there.
Hmm.
And of course, all the videos they had with all the pretty girls, the
Right.
Caribbean islands and stuff right there.
Rio
If it's
Girls on
just,
Film.
yep, absolutely there. The uncensored and regular version, by the way, I should say there. And it fits to say that the videos for Save a Prayer, Real, Hungry Like the Wolf, kind of like help pave the way for the style of the show Miami Vice.
Hmm.
When you look at it, because Sonny Crockett was dressed the way he would dress for the first few seasons of that program. The seniors was always out in the blue skies and everything. Haiku cars. Like beautiful damsels here and there,
Right.
and it was definitely. And the girls out there at that time were so into them. They were massive.
Hmm.
At one point, it was at the same time that the Beatles had their anniversary of when they first came to America 20 years before. And remember, Samuel Laban had to make this claim that we are not the Beatles.
Right.
We are Duran Duran. At one point, a couple of teeny bop publications were calling them the Fab Five, comparing them to, of course, the Fab Four.
Right.
So, but Duran Duran really came out with some good songs when you look about it. I personally prefer the Duran Duran after both Roger Taylor and Andy Taylor left the group in '86 there. They had an album, a couple of records out, like Big Thing, which was pretty good. Liberty, which came out in 1990, which is still my personal favorite from them. I used to play that when I would bike ride all the way out to St. Clair back when I lived in Richmond, Michigan. I would bike ride all the way to an area called St. Clair, which is by the river there, by the water. I would ride that all the way from that spot to Marine City while listening to the album Liberty by Duran Duran. And when I was bike riding a few weeks back, I had that on my MP3. That whole album was riding from this spot all the way to the nearby mall. Good summer album, by the way, to listen to when you think about it. There,
Yeah.
definitely highly recommended.
Yeah. Next one I got starts the E's. Young lady by the name of Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians.
Oh, and she's married to Paul Simon still, if I'm correct.
Right.
Yeah, they had that song. I guess it was one of the first new age hippie bands. I guess it was because a couple of members that look like hippies when you look at it there.
Yeah, she had one really big song. What was it? What I Am?
I guess that what it was. Yeah, it was. I was not a big fan of that song there, but for a while it was played on the VH1 channel when that first came out there. For a while, I guess it was the only big hit. I guess they had this one song. It was a Bob Dylan cover for the movie Born of the Fourth of July with Tom Cruise in it, but that was about it.
And I had another song about circles, but I don't remember what the heck it was.
Oh yeah, who knows? But I guess like I said, there was one of those bands really kind of like that would pave the way for bands like jam bands for like Blues Travelers, Spin Doctors. I guess you could say they're hippie type bands.
Yeah. Next one I got is someone called is Enya. Her,
India,
her
and we
big
know
one was
that
Sail Away.
we know that song pretty well. That
Oh
was a
yeah.
big, massive hit on the VH1 channel. I guess that was for the new age crowd just as well because new around the mid '80s, new age music was circulating, kind of had an underground scene for a while
Yeah,
there.
and she was Celtic, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so as well. And that was her one big hit wonder.
Yeah, I don't recall any others, but that one song actually I kind of liked it.
There was another one if I remember, but I forgot I don't know the title of it. But Sail Away was like everywhere on the VH1 channel and various soft rock stations.
Yeah. Then I got the Eurythmics.
Oh wow! Ex-members of the Taurus.
Yeah.
Now the Taurus, excuse me, the Taurus was this band out of England that was kind of like in the post New Wave era. Well, actually, it was still the New Wave era when they first came out. The first time I heard of them was they had a video for their cover of "I Only Want to Be with You." That was on, I guess that was back in 1980 or 81.
Yeah.
It was on the show called Pop Clips that was featured on the weekends on the Nickelodeon channel when that channel first started out there.
Yeah. Of course, their big one was Sweet Dreams Are Made of This.
Which, of course, Marilyn Manson covered, back years, a decade later, which got big and played big time at the goth clubs around that era just as well.
Yeah.
And Annie Lennox, you got to give her credit because she had one of the most unique haircuts and styles ever there.
Yeah, and she actually did some solo stuff that was pretty decent.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. Walking on Broken Glass. She did this song which was featured. I forgot. Kiss from a Vampire, I guess it was, for the Bram Stoker's Dracula movie in '92.
Yeah, yeah,
And her partner, music partner, Dave Stewart, he would also do a song with I guess that Candy Dulfer saxophone player. I guess I forgot the title of it, but it was a good song there to listen to. He
yeah,
also did production for Tom Petty's "Don't Come Around Here No More." He even made appearance in the video.
yeah.
And of
Okay,
course, Rhythmics, later abandoned the techno pop stuff for more stuff there. Like you remember the song "Would I Lie to You"?
right,
Yeah, it was a very interesting change. Even did a song with Aretha Franklin called "Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves."
right.
Yeah, so definitely, I don't know if they're still together or what it was or what happened to them. Or I did they made a comeback album back somewhere, and guess it was called Peace. I think it was, and I think it was in the '90s when they decided to reemerge. But I don't know if that album did well or not. But who knows?
Yeah. Next one I got is I'm not sure if they're 80s or 90s. Extreme.
They're kind of like a later '90s, so or later on to the early couple years of
Yeah,
the
I'll be honest. A lot of people on
yeah.
this list, I'm not sure where they belong.
Actually, they came out during the hair metal movement there, I guess, from what I understand. We
Yeah,
know that song, More Than Words, was probably, and
enormously popular. That's probably their highest, biggest song.
it was. It got played massively on all the soft rock stations on the VH1 channels when you look at it there. And here's something else about the song there. The song, according to Gary Cherone, the frontman, who of course later on would become the singer of Van Halen later on down the line for one album and one tour, um, he said that song was written from a woman's point of view.
Hmm.
She's saying that she doesn't want to hear just "I love you." She wants to see, or she wants to feel that love. She wants to know about that love. Just words. I need more than words, other than just "I love you." The
Right.
person needs to show it, and she needs more than that. That's what this song was about.
Next one I
Okay.
got is the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Vaughn and the big brother, brother of Stevie Ray Vaughan. The first time I heard of them was as a song, "How Do You Spell Love?" Money,
Yeah,
money. I guess it was an anti-love song that they were doing there, and we know that song years later, song "Tough Enough," which came out in
right.
'86, which was a big hit for them.
Yeah, it's probably their biggest.
Yeah, of course, they ended up redoing the song I just mentioned. "How Do You Spell Love?" With it, and they made it. They gave it the same style, the same kind of production, the same kind of a reverb sound like they did in "Tough Enough." On that remake of there's one of their songs as well, which
Right.
really didn't do that much.
Yeah. Then the next one I got is Faith No More, which actually I think is a 90s group.
Yeah, it is a '90s group. I think they started out in '88 or something like that, but didn't really get to make it big until the start of 1990 with their song "Epic," their cover of "War Pigs," which came out at a very appropriate time because
Yeah,
Operation Desert Shield was in full throttle at that period there, and the world was on waiting. Are we going to go to war with Iraq? Are we going to go to war with Iraq? People were concerned about that.
yep,
And the whole hands was in the position of two people, George H.W. Bush and Saddam Hussein.
yeah. Next one I got, I think, is another 90s group, but I'm not sure. Is Firm.
The Firm?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's an 80s group.
And it was a kind of a semi-super group, as I remember.
It was. It had Tony. It had Chris Slade, who they're on drums, who would later join AC/DC. There's on down the line. Now, Chris Slade, I don't know much about him, but previously to that, he toured with David Gilmour when Gilmour did his solo tour for his album About Face in 1984, which me and my dad saw when they played at the former Pine Knob in Clarkson, Michigan. Pretty damn good show.
Hmm.
Damn good show. It was my dad was glad to see it there. And the Firm featured Tony Franklin, who would later hook up with the former Whitesnake guitarist to put together a band called Blue Murder. And of course, the two main members, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin and Paul Rogers from Bad Company.
Yeah. And aren't they the ones that did the cover of Get It On, Bang It Gong?
No, that was the Power Station. The
Power
direct,
Station, that's it. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know, they did their. However, that record that put it out, which I got in 1985, they had that song "Radioactive," which was
Right, that's the
minor
one.
hit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But however, there's a couple songs are pretty good, like like "Someone to Love," and was a good song there. "Satisfaction Guaranteed" was another good one.
Yeah, I think
"Midnight
that album was
Moonlight."
a one and done one, wasn't it?
Well, they did another record called "Mean Business," which had a song called "All the King's Horses," which was a kind of a bigger hit on MTV and the radio just as well there. And it had a song called "Live in Peace," which Paul Rogers originally did on a solo record he did prior to the Firm called "Cut Loose,"
Right.
which kind of makes sense because all the world was in conflict. We had all this shit going on. Kind of when you think about it, that song kind of like makes sense in the world today with all the things bullshit that's going on to this country, that country here,
Right. Right.
which makes a lot of sense when you look at it there.
Yeah. Next one I got, actually, I kind of like him. Fix.
Who?
Fix. Fix.
Fix. Fix. Oh, the band The Fix. Oh
Right.
yeah, my gosh. Oh man, the first
Red
time I saw
Skies.
Red Skies, Stand or Fall, which was a pretty damn good
Yeah.
song there.
Saved by Zero.
Oh yeah, which was a kind of a disturbing video when you really think about it there.
Yeah.
If you ever saw the video for that song, folks, watch. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's kind of disturbing when you look at it there.
Yeah. I thought the stuff was pretty decent.
Yeah, they had a lot of good stuff there. Like I remember they had this song called, what's it? I remember this one song back in '86. I forgot it was. It was Secret Separation, I think it was.
Yeah, could be. Like I said, a
Yeah.
lot of these groups, I don't know their songs. Oh,
We all
really,
know
I
one
know
thing
the
leads.
songs, but not well enough to pop off the top of my head.
Well, we know the ones we just mentioned. We cannot forget, and one thing leads to another, which
Right.
still is one of the songs you should go for, as obviously there. That was a big, massive hit.
Yeah.
I remember me and a lady named Lena, who I was kind of dated for the time in 1991 there. They played the Ritz in Roseville. She was there because she remembers meeting Adam Woods, their drummer, at one time back in 1984 there, and he remembered her. He
Wow.
remembered her, which is pretty good.
Yeah. She
And
must have
which
made
is,
an impression.
yeah, she was because usually usually a fan can have an impression on a band or an artist a lot of times. Like, for example, me and Navek Ogre of Skitty Puppy. When I first moved to when they played the Houston area back in 2015, he remembered me. It's like, holy cow! So did you move here now officially? Like, because he remembered me from all the times him and his whether it's Skinny Puppy or whichever project he was involved in would come to Detroit, I'd be there
Right.
because he was a cool guy to talk with. You hang out with it, you know. I still have fond memories of hanging out with him and the other members of Skinny Puppy when they played the Latin Quarter in Woodward Avenue and Grand Boulevard in November of 1990.
Wow.
Yeah, and I got in without a backstage pass. We just waited till the security went bye-bye, and we just me. I was the first one to go up there in the backstage, and everybody else was outside. Soon would follow, and the band had nobody had no problem with it. How lucky was I?
Yeah. Next one I got, I was going to say they were a one-hit wonder, but actually I think they had two or three.
Oh,
Uh,
before I
yeah.
interrupt you, sorry to interrupt, man. I had to tell you this one. One of the guys mistaken me for the guitarist from The Fix.
Huh.
Because apparently I kind of like had the same hairdo as he did, you know. And of course, it kind of like look is somewhat similar, but I guess his hair. I guess his name was Jamie West Oram, the guitar player from that band. He thought I was him at first, but this guy thought, and so I had to correct him. In fact, Lena even said you do kind of resembled him in a lot of ways when you look at it there. So that was one of the first times I was compared to being a rock star.
Yeah.
All right, so go right ahead there. Didn't mean to cut you off there, but I
Ain't no
said
sweat.
I'd get that out there.
Next one I got Flock of Seagulls.
Oh my gosh, the song I Ran still played on a couple times on soft rock stations, or 80's throwback stations there,
Well, I
like on
think they had a
Sirius
few
XM.
more, but that's the only one people seem to remember.
Yeah, they had a song called Space Age Love Song, Wishing, which is pretty good there. The more you live, the more you love, you know. And the funny thing about that group was that the frontman, Mike Score, was a hairdresser.
Hmm.
So that was how he was able, I guess he was able to create the look that he had at that time with that particular haircut.
Yeah.
And that was unique because I don't think I saw anybody else soon afterwards, do that hairstyle anymore, I guess.
Okay, next one I got uh, Gary Newman.
Oh, my man. Oh, man.
When
Give
the,
this man his due.
yeah,
Give
it
this
had
guy his
cars.
apps, not just cars, down to the park, which the Foo Fighters and Marilyn Manson would cover. He had the song Our Friends Electric. He had a concept album titled Replicas, where those two songs came from. He was his one of his tracks from the Pleasure Principle, where cars came from. One of the tracks from that record was later sampled by a band called Basement Jacks, where that "Where's Your Head?" And I forgot the song that they sampled, but it was the same chords there, but just sped up a little bit there.
Yeah, and I know that if I remember the video, wasn't he riding around like a bumper car?
I think so. I don't know, but he would go on to release other albums just as well there. Two of my personal favorites from him was an album that came out in '88 called New Anger, which a girl I was seeing around the early 2000s, recommended that. She let me borrow that. She gave that to me. And I
Oh,
was listening to the cassette version of that album. It was some pretty good stuff there. More a top 40, commercial sound there. And another one she played for me was an album called Dawn, which was the soundtrack to a comic book titled Dawn, which was a UK favorite, I guess. And the songs of that album, which was later released here in America under the name Sacrifice, you know, which was that was a more darker sounding record, but it was an awesome record to listen to. The sound that the production was pretty awesome when you look at it. It had that more darker edge.
yeah.
He had another song called Dead Heaven, the song Dark, and a couple others there. In fact, he's still putting out albums, by the way.
Hmm.
He has this one album called Intruder, which was released not too long ago. I guess you got to look on either Amazon Music or Spotify. And I understand he's supposed to be playing Numbers nightclub in downtown Houston sometime soon. I forgot, but I don't know if I'll be able to see him because of my work schedule.
Right.
Since I work till 11 p.m. on the weekends there.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, somebody's got to do it, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, which is sad. Yeah, but, now it was a later show there around the if they were going to stage around 12 or 12:30 there, like often the headline acts often did during that time. There would be no problem. Get my
Right.
picture taken what to do, and then I'll be all how I'll be happy go lucky. But unfortunately,
Next one's an all-girl group, the Go-Go's.
oh yeah, we know that song. Our lips
We
are
got the
sealed.
deal. We got the
We got the
beat.
we got the beat. Yep,
Vacation.
yep. Head over heels. Those songs there.
Then you had Belinda Carlisle go out on her own, and
Yep.
then what's that? The guitar. Jane Wiedlin.
Jade Weenland. Yes.
She did a song with the singer from Sparks.
Yeah, the song "Cool Places" there. That was a big hit. I guess she tried to have established herself as a top-notch solo secure as Belinda did, but that didn't work out, unfortunately. There, so I guess she was kind of upset. But but Jane Whelan, she was, I guess, as I mentioned a couple episodes back, I guess she was involved with this married singer. I guess if I'm correct, it was Terry Hall from Fun Boy 3,
Mm.
who at the time, prior to that, was the front man for the ska group The Specials. You remember the song "A Message to You, Rudy" from years before that, 1980.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good song there.
And next one I got really doesn't fit the mold of what we're talking about, and I think they're 90s anyway. Uh, Great White.
Well, kind of like well, actually, believe it or not, they started out in 1983 there. Well, actually, they formed in 1978, and they didn't. I only discovered their songs back. They had a couple of good songs on the MTV there. I remember also being played on the radio around 1983. Their cover of "Substitute" by the Who,
Yeah.
and a song called "Stick It." And and of course, years on down the line, they would do their cover of "Once Bitten, Twice Shy." I guess it was a Matu Hoopo cover song there.
In
That
fact,
was a big hit.
that was two different albums.
Yeah,
Once
absolutely.
Bitten, Twice
And
Shy.
later, "Twice Shy." And you had this one song called "The Angel Song," which was pretty touching about about some lady who passed on. I'm not too sure what the story is about there. And of course, we cannot forget. I guess it was in 2003 or 2002, the incident at the station in Rhode Island.
Mm.
They were performing it at this the dive of a bar called the Station. The place was jam packed, and I nobody knows who came up with this stupid idea, but it was outright stupid to the core. Now, one of the big rules of doing a indoor show at a small club, let alone any small venue, is that you don't use pyrotechnics.
Right.
You don't do that. That was a stupid thing to do, but somehow they did use pyrotechnics, and the curtains on the behind it caught on fire, caused the place to burn up. One of the guitar players was killed in that fire. Many people, 99 people died because of that.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah, it was a
And of
tragic event.
course, beyond that, here's something else. One of the stupid tabloids out there started making Jack Russell, the frontman of that group, the most hated rocker. Saying he was a pyromaniac. He was like to play with fire. It was this idea. We don't know who's. Of course, you're gonna say shit like that, there, Joe, just to
Yeah.
sell a few rag mags of theirs. But who? I don't know whose idea was it. Whether it's Russell's idea or the technician's idea, but still, you don't use pyrotechnics in a small venue.
Right.
Period. Bottom line, and that was, I guess, that was the last. I guess right now, Great White has a new singer. I guess Jack Russell's been out of the group now for a while now, and I guess he's has Jack Russell's Great White come next to the other Great White.
It's amazing how often that happens.
Yeah, same thing happened with L.A. Guns not too long ago. Wow, I know there's an L.A. Guns with drummer Steve Riley. I guess it's called Steve Riley's L.A. Guns, and we have another L.A. Guns with Tracy Guns and Phil Lewis. A lot of bullshit going on with these bands, splitting into two parts there. Somebody got to touch up on one of these days there.
Yeah.
If in fact, possibly Minnesota Vikings fan, if you're out there, we need to touch up on this situation on their next Dirty Brown Eye drama show. We've still got to do a third episode, an official third episode, because the last one, didn't pan out too well there, as you all know.
Yeah. Next one I got, I'm not really a fan, but I don't know if they're 80s or 90s, to be honest. Green Day.
Right? Yeah, they're 90s. They're 90s all the way.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that group.
I never was either. Didn't like them, didn't care for them. I just, I'm sorry, but but of course, all the emo kids out there, all these bands like are going to cite them as an influence because of the way they sound and the way they were. They project their depression into happy music the way they did. I never liked them. Never liked them.
No.
Bottom line.
No.
So we'll just push them off the cliff there.
Next one I got here is kind of interesting. I actually like the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
It's Greg Kihn.
Oh, yeah. You know what? How is he doing, by the way?
Not real sure, but I always liked that song I lost on Jeopardy.
Oh, yeah. Which was, that song was, it was just called Jeopardy.
Yeah,
The one you just referred to was Weird Al Yankovic's version.
Okay.
Yeah. We saw the song Jeopardy. We also cannot forget the song, the breakup song.
Right.
We need my girls broke up an hour ago. That was a big hit around 1982.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought he was an 80s
They don't make
artist.
they don't make them like that anymore. The breakup song, that was the name
Right.
of the track there.
Right.
And that was like I remember the live version played on the old MTV, back in the day. It was like from a Saturday night concert that they did, where they took that one out and started that into a heavy rotation there. But
Yeah.
this guy had a whole bunch of album titles with his last name in it, like Conspiracy, Can
Yeah.
You Handle It, And that was the idea of the producer. They always come up with these crazy-ass titles there.
Yeah, which actually is reasonably clever.
Yeah, it is. When you think about it there.
Yeah. Okay, next one I've got here. I don't know whether they're 80s or 90s, and I don't want to spend a long time on them.
Hmm.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh, definitely 80s for sure there, because he came out
The
around
first
time.
album was great. Everything after that pretty much sucks.
Right, of course, you talk about Appetite for Destruction, by the way, I know, right?
Yeah, the first album, whatever the name
Well,
was.
actually, the first time I heard of them was actually an EP they put it out prior to that called Live Like a Suicide. It was a 4-track EP there, and it came out on a label called Uzi Suicide, which was their label. And for I understand, they had they would either release that album as the other side to an album called Lies.
Right.
GNR Lies, which of course one side was the acoustic songs that they had, the acoustic version of You're Crazy, um, Patience, and of course the heavily controversial One in a Million that sparked a lot of hate towards them because of the tones, because of the lyrics of that song there. We already know the story about that.
Yeah.
And of course, believe it or not, that the cover that with the cross with the skulls on them, that's not the original cover.
Mm.
Because you look up the original cover of Appetite Destruction on Google Images, you see what I'm talking about. And they had, it was kind of a freaky thing to look at, but which kind of makes sense why it had to be censored. But it's a big monstrous machine jumping out from behind the fence, going after a little robot for doing something to a woman there who was, laying on the side of the fence there. Oh my gosh, she's just her panties are down. She got attacked there. So basically, it was a revenge kind of a portrait there. The big googly gook was going after the robot for what it did to that girl.
Yeah.
But but the cover had to be changed for the cover that we already know by heart with the cross and the skull faces of the band members. In fact, that album just got reissued there as a double album, but it was a three-sided version this time there, whereas in the past it was just side one, side two. They expanded. Side G, side N, side R. Three
Hmm.
sides. So that's how it is done there. Now I'm hoping possibly if it has that original portrait on the gatefold, I hope so because that's one interesting piece to look at. In fact, the guy who illustrated that, Robert Williams, he's definitely deserves a lot of credit because he did a couple album covers for acts like Boogie Down Productions and a few others as well there.
Okay, the last G I've got, I don't know when they came out at all, but I know they had one really good album with a couple of good songs.
Hmm.
It is Gypsy.
Gypsy, L.A. Guns. Oh no, that's Electric Gypsy. My bad. Well, the one I know, the only Gypsy. Now you talking about the band Gypsy?
Right.
I don't think I know it because when you said Gypsy, I'm thinking of the Fleetwood Mac song.
No, this I want to say it was 70's, but it could be wrong. And they
Maybe.
had two. They had a song on their album that was a minor, and I mean minor hit.
I
I
got to
just don't
look this
remember.
up.
I
Let
just
me
don't
look it
remember.
up here for a second here. Blah 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 here. Let's see here. Gypsy, Gypsy rock band here. Okay, Lara. Let me look at this here. Hmm. Now it was a progress. No, it was a '60s band.
Oh, wow!
Yeah, it was functioning from 1962 to 1968,
I
and
missed
they
them
were the house
completely.
and they were a house band at the Whiskey a Go Go in West Hollywood, California.
They had maybe their first album. They had a song that saw a general release, but I don't think it did all that well. It was
Let's
like
see
part
there.
one and part two of something.
There. Let's see here. Let me look it up there. Let's see what you're talking about here. Yeah, I know this says here they were formerly known as the Underbeats. Gypsy Queen Part One.
That's it.
Yes, that's right there. They would now Bill Lorden would later go on play with Sly and the Family Stone, and it would have a long career with Robin Trower.
Wow.
Um, that's what interesting there.
Yeah, I
And
knew
I
you'd heard
guess
of the band, but I couldn't remember what year they came in.
yeah, it was. And by the way, according to the Wikipedia here, it says the group has no relation to the British band of the same name formed in 1968, which recorded two albums for United Artists Records in the UK there. Now, one of their members, Jim Johnson, died of cancer in hospice care in September of 2019. He was 66 at that time there. Uh,
Yeah.
there we go. There. So there we go.
Well, it looks like it's coming up on your time with Minnesota Vikings fan.
Yeah, I got to get a hold of him. You wanted to stick around, dude?
Maybe for a little while, but
Okay.
we'll, I guess, stop with the G's and pick up with the H's.
All right, there. Give me a couple minutes there, because I'm gonna, do a little couple things here. Let me get a hold of him and see if he is all ready to do his show there. Because a couple times he starts a little bit late at the times there. But then again, he probably already started, as we all know here. We'll have to wait and see there. Let me check a few things here.